All right, here we go. We already talked about, Vasquez. We talked about Campusano. We had long discussions yesterday about whether Manny should have swung. We've had conversations about this, that, and the other thing. And whether or not, Darvish will ever come back, and where's Michael King, and who's going to get the job done, and the catchers don't hit, and I don't know how many more hundreds of topics have come up this season, right? And how many hundreds more will come up. But I'm here to tell you, there's only two things going forward that matter. There's only two. And before I tell you what the two things are, let's understand that so far, what we're getting from the Padres is about what we should have expected in most areas. There's a few things that are a little better, few things that are a little worse, but ultimately the fact is they're 9 games over 500. They are in a wild card spot. If the season were to end today, they are 2.5 games clear of the Cardinals right now. And I think somewhat fortunately, they're only 2 games out of first place because the Dodgers haven't run away and hid. The Padres could use a little bit more power overall. I keep talking about the 3-run homer. I'll say what, Scraby, I won't talk about that anymore. I'll just talk about the homer in general. The Padres currently rank ahead of only 3 teams in baseball in terms of number of home runs hit. This is the day and age of the home run. Padres need to find some power somewhere, somehow. They have 57 homers. Just by comparison, the Dodgers have 105. I don't see how you're supposed to beat that team when those things are happening. But
limit home runs when you're playing them.
Well, okay, don't give them any, right?
Yeah.
Well, they got one yesterday, and it was the game. But that, again, is still not where we're going. They've got some injuries, but I think the pitching has been as advertised. Really good in general overall, with a few hiccups here and there. ERA is 3.44. We're way up there in the league there. Bullpen overall has been one of the best in baseball. Hitting has been spotty on the other side. We have not scored as many runs as we like. But I think the Padres are about where they are, except for 2 things. And here are the 2 things that absolutely, positively must change, and they must change soon if the Padres are going to ultimately get where they want to go. These are the only 2 things that matter. It's not Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts, for better or worse, in most of your minds worse, Xander Bogaerts is about where I think he's just going to be now.
This is
him. He's a 250 hitter with
640 OPS,
with less than 50 RBIs. He is stealing a base or 2 for you, and he's playing solid defense. Good enough.
Yep.
That's Bogaerts. It's not changing, and you're not trading him, and you're not releasing him. So that isn't what this is. It's also not Jake Cronenworth. I've come to the realization that Jake is about what he is as well. I mean, this is about the 3rd straight year. He's got 4 homers. He'll be lucky to get 50 RBIs. He hits 237, doesn't do much against lefties. This is Jake Cronenworth. We love him a lot more than we love Bogaerts, so we're not nearly as hard on him.
True.
The catchers, Maldonado and Diaz, are going to do what they do, which is hit about 190 and give you a home run once a month. That's what they've done. That's what they're going to do. Here's what you absolutely have to have. Number 1, you got to get Jackson Merrill out of this slump. Jackson Merrill bats cleanup. Am I correct?
Yes,
he bats
he does.
right behind Manny Machado.
Yes.
The reason I know this without even talking to Manny, I know the reason he swung 3-0 yesterday is because he felt
Jackson
right
wasn't
there
going to get the job done.
he had to do something.
Yeah.
Merrill has been struggling. It would have been lefty on lefty. And Manny expanded the strike zone and swung at a strike that wasn't really much of a hitter's pitch. But I believe had Jackson Merrill been doing what he normally does, Manny would have waited for a better pitch. Jackson Merrill, since coming back on May 6th, homered on May 7th. In the 1 month and 5 days since then, he's hit 1 home run. This is your cleanup hitter. He's hit 1. He was hitting 467 on May 12th. I know that wasn't possible to keep up. I get that. But since then, a whole month, May 12th, today's June 12th, he's hitting 210. Jackson Merrill, in the last 27 games, again a month, has exactly 2 multiple RBI games. And both of them were just 2 RBIs. If you're going to go anywhere, Jackson Merrill has to pick it back up. I think he can. I think he very possibly will. But if you want to know what matters right now, Jackson Merrill getting it back matters big time. Well, he's the cleanup hitter. He has to start performing at least somewhat like that.
And the team came into the year banking on him being one of the better hitters of the team.
It's an absolute necessity if they are going to go anywhere. And don't tell me, well, let's just take him out of the cleanup spot, because please tell me a better option. We don't have one. I just gave you the rest of the guys. None of them are cleanup hitters either. Jackson Merrill's got to go. So got to get going. I don't mean gotta go. That's not what I meant.
What obviously. If you swap Manny and Jackson?
And then
I guess you're going righty, lefty, lefty, righty.
And then what? Jackson's coming up in the 3rd hole with guys on base. He's got to start driving some of them in.
Or do you think that he needs to go back to where he was last year, just to kind of find things like 6th or 7th?
I can't, because I have no replacement. If I take him out of 4th, I create a bigger problem by putting someone else there. That's number one.
Now, let me stop you right there. Are you saying that Merrill, because he is the cleanup hitter, that is the problem? If he was hitting 6th or 7th, would that still be one of your...
The reason I believe Jackson Merrill turning it is huge and imperative is because he's capable of way more than what he's doing.
Yes, he is.
And for a month and a half, he's been nowhere near what he's capable doing. The other guys I mentioned earlier, I don't think they're capable of a whole lot more. So I'm not going to wait for it.
Yeah.
Jackson Merrill, way more capable.
Yes.
Now that I've told you one thing that is absolutely imperative moving forward, you should be able to guess the second thing.
It's Fernando.
It is absolutely Fernando.
I think
Tatis
Fernando's
Jr.
number 1 of those 2.
I gave it to you in reverse order.
I started
with 2. Sorry. This is number 1. Here's Fernando.
I don't know how numbers work.
Here's Fernando. First of all, for the season, and this includes everything he did in April.
Yeah.
For the season, he's currently 78 points lower than his career OPS. So just off the top, we know he's capable of better. Number 2, and this is really dragging on now, May 1st was a long time ago.
Yeah.
He is hitting 188 in that span. And he doesn't lead the world in walks. He gets some, but he's not exactly, Max Muncy or...
he's taking more walks now.
He's taking some, but 188, that can't continue. He has 10 extra base hits in the last 36 games. Tells me he's getting 1 double every 4 games. Not enough. The last 4 weeks, Scraby, like that's before I went to Denver on my little trip.
Yes.
4 weeks was before Braden left for Europe. 4 weeks is a long time ago.
I was still 39 4 weeks ago.
That's right. You were still younger.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis Jr. in 4 weeks has 2 RBIs. And both of those were on solo homers where he drove himself in.
Now, how much is that because he's a leadoff hitter?
A lot of it.
Okay.
We already know that the bottom
he's
of the
not hitting as a leadoff hitter,
right.
So that's
but
part of it too.
We all know the bottom of the order is really almost automatic out times 3. But again, the bottom of the order is going to be the bottom of the order. This is what these guys are going to do. Fernando cannot keep doing this. It is 100% imperative. And I will add one last thing on Fernando's stat line. That's important. He's a right-handed hitter who should obliterate lefties. He's hitting 197 against lefties. And if he can't hit lefties, who's going to do it? Merrill, Sheets, Cronenworth, Wade, Hayward, they're all lefties. You can't expect much from them consistently. Don't let me forget Arise, another lefty. Yeah. So if Fernando's not doing it, who's going to? The only righties left are Manny and Bogaerts, and we know we're not getting it from Bogaerts. Manny has been doing it, but as we saw this week, a one-man team cannot carry you where you need to go.
No, but if Manny hasn't been doing what he's been doing this year, this team is below 500.
I don't even want to think about it. You're absolutely right. If Manny wasn't doing what he was doing right now, they would be 10 games back.
Yeah.
The only difference is they'd be like 6 back in the wild card also.
I think it is time. I think it is time to switch with the lineup a little bit. I just don't know how to go about it. And I know that Mike Schilt said maybe last week that he's not ready to do that yet. But how much of a sample size do you need before you're ready to do something like that?
Well, first of all, look, you always try things. The problem that Schilt has is that by potentially fixing one problem, he opens up 2 more.
True.
Because if he takes Fernando out of leadoff, the only other even real possibility is Arise, and we keep talking about it, but he's not a great leadoff hitter.
I mean, he's not hitting. Well, he's hitting. He's not hitting to his standards.
278 is not enough,
especially with standards.
Especially with no walks and no ability to steal a base. And if you take Merrill out of 4th, who's there? And I know somebody might say, well, how about Sheets? Against a right-handed pitcher, I might give it to you. Against a left-handed pitcher, frankly, Sheets should not be in there. He is another one of the automatic outs when left-handed pitchers are on the mound. But I've already gotten more than I could ever expect or want from Sheets. The 2 things that are going to matter going forward are Tatis and Merrill. It's on those 2 guys. They've got to pick it back up. And I'll tell you another thing. If we're sitting here in a week and a half and both guys have picked it up, I bet you anything the Padres are on a roll.
Yep.
Because those 2 guys can change it.
What I do think is something that we need to kind of pay attention to as well is this team is still winning somehow. Yes. I know that they're under 500 in this stretch of a long stretch.
Well, they're 7-6 in the first 13 games.
So they're over 500.
Well, the first 13 games they went 7-6. They're off today. Now they'll play 13 more. You're 100% right.
I mean, they're winning somehow throughout all of these problems.
I know, but I don't know that it can continue. Because I don't know that Manny can just be asked to carry it for the rest of the year. At some point,
hear me out.
The guys who should be helping are going to have to help.
Hear me out.
I will.
Let's change the lineup.
Change the lineup.
What
do you want to do?
Everybody's going to hate me for this one.
What do you got?
Xander Bogaerts leading off. And the reason I say Xander Bogaerts leading off is because he does walk.
He's stolen 13 bases.
And he's not going to clog up the bases.
His on-base percentage is better than Arise's. So that's something.
Xander Bogaerts gets on base.
I'm not agreeing with you, but
I know you're not agreeing with me. I'm not even agreeing with myself.
I know. I'm trying to support your claim because most people would say
that's crazy.
Well, it's out number 1. Go ahead. What's
you
next?
know what? And those people that say that, not wrong. But he does get on base and he can't steal bases as well.
Okay,
Arise can't do that.
Lead him off.
And then I'm going to go with Arise because he's got nowhere else in this lineup to hit.
Okay.
And then I'm putting I'm putting Manny at 3. I'm going to keep him there. And then I'm putting Fernando at the cleanup spot. Even though Fernando has not been great, I want to put him at the cleanup spot
so they can scare people into giving Manny more to hit.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not thinking that deep into this whole thing, but maybe Fernando down in the lineup a little bit will give him a little bit of a break from the leadoff spot. And then you put Merrill in the 6th or 7th spot. I'll say put him at the 6th spot, put Sheets at the 5th spot.
Okay.
7th would be Jake Cronenworth, and then the rest of it's the same. But you got to figure out how to get the front, the first part of the lineup going, the leadoff spot, and you got to figure out how to get 6 through 9 going.
You're not going to get 6 through 9 going because those guys can't go anywhere. They just can't. This is Jake. This is Lockridge. This is Elias Diaz. This is what these guys are. You're not going to all of a sudden start blowing people out with the bottom 3 in your lineup. And this is why I said yesterday, hard as it is for me to come to terms with it, the Dodgers are better because from 5 to 9, they have guys that can hit. We don't.
That stuck with me all night last night, Chris.
I apologize for that.
It stuck with me because you're right. You're right. Tommy Edman hitting 8th, I believe. That's a good 8 hitter.
Pretty good. Hai-Sung Kim's hitting over 400. I'm
ready for him to come back to earth at some point.
But Edman, Max Muncy, Andy Pajes.
Andy Pajes is really good.
They're at the bottom of their order. We don't have that.
At least the Padres don't have the embarrassment of riches that the Dodgers do. And their Dodgers are kind of keeping up, They're setting the pace a little bit, but they're not way out front.
No, we appreciate the fact that they haven't run away from us. And the other thing that you brought up that we should appreciate before we get, completely upset is the fact that the Padres are still finding some ways to win. And that is a really good sign. And that's what good teams do. Despite all of these issues that we have now talked an hour about, still gone 7-6 against a pretty good run of schedule. And they're still only 2 games behind.
See, ultimately, I know that people are worried about everything else, but ultimately, the standings are the only thing. I don't know why my voice is cracked. The standings, Chris, are the only thing that matter. And somehow the Padres are putting up W's more often than L's.